You're watching CW Montana. This is the MTN 9 o'clock news.
And good evening. Thanks for joining us on this Wednesday. I'm Andrea Lutz. Ahead tonight, will the Bozeman School Board consider changing the name of their new high school? This after outcry from the community over the new name. We'll have that story. Plus, a compromise bill is in front of lawmakers to address the statute of limitation on childhood sex abuse. But some victims say it doesn't go far enough. But we begin tonight in western Montana, where the weather just is not letting up. But first, we do have some breaking news to tell you about tonight. 9 people, mostly children, injured in a crash near St. Ignatius involving a school van. This crash shut down Highway 93 for a while tonight. The Montana Highway Patrol says a dump truck was heading southbound and crossed into the oncoming lane. The truck sideswiped a blue SUV. Those vehicles then collided with that school passenger van. The van was traveling with children who attend the Arley Salish Language School. The occupants were taken to the hospitals in Ronan and Missoula. The other drivers of those other vehicles are okay. This winter weather just continues to pound western Montana and the western parts of our state. MTN's Dennis Bragg is in Missoula with how people are coping. Dennis.
Bitterroot residents are saying not again as west central Montana takes delivery of another deluge of snow. It wouldn't be so bad if the Bitterroot already wasn't coping with more than 2 feet of snow that was received earlier this week. The latest storm started early this morning along the Bitterroot front north to Lolo in the southern end of the Missoula Valley, and it just kept snowing. By late morning, roads, streets, and driveways that had been at least partially cleared in Tuesday's break between storms were already starting to drift in again. Driving conditions were especially bad with near whiteout to full whiteout conditions along Highway 93, the East Side Highway, and the Cross Valley connecting routes. Because there's so much snow from earlier in the week, plows and trucks are creating mini blizzards as they pass. Most of the roads were showing little if any bare pavement by afternoon, and drivers of anything but four-wheel and all-wheel drive vehicles were having a very difficult time, especially if hills are involved. Stevensville Mayor Brandon Dewey was advising only essential travel by mid-afternoon. And it didn't take long for Bitterroot school leaders to decide to close classes early today as this latest pounding of snow arrived. It wasn't long after students settled into class this morning that it became apparent they'd better go home early. When the National Weather Service called to warn school districts across the Bitterroot of the heavy snow with the potential for several inches falling in a matter of hours, school leaders were quick to respond. In Corvallis, where there's already 2 feet of snow, buses were summoned, parents were notified, and by 1 o'clock, students were being sent home.
So our goal is, number one, is school safety, making sure kids get to and from school safely. So with the conditions that are out here, compounded by the fact of the roads prior to school starting today, it's one of those days where we need to get kids home soon.
While the main challenge was getting students home safely, it's also a storage problem. The school district doesn't know what to do with all the snow. They're running out of parking space and places to put the piles of snow. Andrea, back to you.
All right, thanks, Dennis, for an update there. Well, tonight, a state of emergency declared by Governor Steve Bullock as this severe storm continues to dump a record amount of snow on Montana. This declaration really impacts drivers delivering heating supplies. The declaration will make it easier for carriers to supply propane, heating oil, and diesel fuel to communities struggling with the snow. The governor's order also allows some commercial drivers to work overtime. New details tonight on what led to the death of a Bozeman skier in the Bridger Range. The slide happened yesterday on top of Truman Gulch. 36-year-old Peter Lazar was skiing solo and triggered that slide. A couple was skidding up the hill when they saw it happen and rushed to help. Lazar was swept downhill 1,000 feet and found with his hands sticking out of the snow. Friends say that he was well known and he was well loved in that community. Bozeman's new high school name might not work out after the Bozeman community expressed some displeasure in the name West Slope High School. Now the board has decided to hold a special meeting to try and address this. MTN's Emma Hamilton tells us what we can expect.
The decision to hold a special meeting to discuss the name of High School 2 has come as a result of what the community wants.
It's been the feedback from the community. It's been, to their credit, we don't open a high school every year, so perhaps we could look at that process a little closer. The community has certainly been vocal on wanting more input.
The school board asked for suggestions from the community on what the name of the high school should be a couple of weeks at the beginning of this month. Once the suggestion timeframe closed, there were 170 names on the table. Focus groups narrowed the names down, and they were then brought to a committee of people in the community, including parents, students, and many others. Finally, the 3 finalist names were brought to the board.
As a board, we felt very, very respectful and confident with the names we received, that they were the names that the community as a general should like. Some folks are just disappointed, I think, their name wasn't chosen to be the 3. I think some have assumed it will be a cutthroat trout as the mascot, and that is certainly not the case. This has been the name only, and I think some people have just thought they're not clear on what process has happened up to this point, and it's been a very good process, I feel.
At the meeting, the board could decide to open the decision to the community to vote on. If the school board does decide to open this up for community vote, the community will only be deciding from the 3 final names. The board could also decide that it is sticking with its decision of naming the second high school Bozeman West Slope High School. In Bozeman, Emma Hamilton, MTN News.
All right, so the decision of the name now opens another discussion on the school's mascot. The committee and school district are currently soliciting ideas from the community, and it might seem like a simple decision, but the earlier the better for planning processes. In the mission, in the meantime, is to find a name that everyone can agree on, of course, for those future generations to be proud of. You still can submit your recommendation for mascot and colors until March 8th. You can do so on the Bozeman School District website. A local Flathead bull riding star is under fire tonight for holding a sign that some say is racist. Columbia Falls principal says parent Bo Hill was spotted at a basketball game over the weekend holding that sign that you saw there with the letters FTI on it. The game was against the Browning Indians, and some say the sign is racist. But Hill's defending himself on social media, saying FTI means for Ty and Indy, a friend and a family dog. He says he's not a racist. The principal does not, though, condone any kind of behavior like that. A Montana Highway Patrol, or I should say a Montana highway, is renamed in honor of a fallen Broadwater County Sheriff's Deputy, Mason Moore. Moore was killed in the line of duty in 2017, so now a section of Highway 287 outside Three Forks will be named in his honor. The sign will include his name and his badge number at mile marker 109. That's where Moore was killed. A dedication ceremony is then going to happen next month. A bill to pay for state infrastructure projects is sailing through the Montana legislature, but leaders are stuck on some details regarding building funding. Today, the House voted to approve the bill. It will map out the state funds for infrastructure, but the bill has a history of conflict in recent sessions. The sponsor said now this bill should avoid those battles in the future. It includes up to $100 million of bonded debt.
Came into this session saying that we need to get infrastructure accomplished. We need to have a plan moving forward. As the speaker said, I'm glad that he and I both agree on that. We see this as step one of a process to make sure that we're taking care of the people of Montana, getting people to work, putting shovels in the ground, and doing good work.
The infrastructure bonding bill for this session is likely to be introduced in the next couple of weeks. A bipartisan group of state lawmakers unveiled a compromise bill to prevent childhood sex abuse in Montana, but advocates for the victims say the bill doesn't quite go far enough. MTN's chief political reporter Mike Dennison has more.
The bill touted Wednesday at a Capitol News conference would allow prosecution at any time of those who sexually abuse children, instead of the current limit, which says it must happen within 20 years of the crime. But the bill only slightly expands the current time limits on when a victim of childhood sexual abuse can sue for damages. A separate bill to remove those limits entirely ran into opposition, and the compromise bill will take its place. Democratic State Representative Shane Morageau of Missoula had sponsored the original bill, but said Thursday he'll be carrying the compromise.
Ultimately, this bill, it does do a lot to protect the interests of survivors of childhood sex abuse in Montana. And while it may not be perfect, it brings Montana laws forward significantly.
Republican State Representative Bill Mercer of Billings, who opposed removing the statute of limitations entirely on civil suits, said very few states have taken that approach.
That's probably because historically the longer you wait to get away from the conduct, the harder it is for that trial to be a search for the truth.
He noted that the compromise bill also includes stricter reporting standards on child sex abuse to make it more likely perpetrators are prosecuted when the abuse happens.
The guiding principle here is, how is it that we can have an effective response when sexual abuse occurs? Every time we have a predator that is not intercepted through an effective investigation, there is an extremely high risk that there will be another victim and another victim and another victim.
Yet the lead attorney for victims abused by a former Miles City athletic trainer told MTN News Thursday that leaving civil lawsuit limitations in place protects only one entity: insurance companies who covered people or institutions that let the abuse happen. John Heenan says the so-called compromise is compromising the rights of victims and that the limits should be removed. But that's not going to happen in this legislature. The compromise bill appears to have the full support of lawmakers from both parties and looks like it has a clear path through this session. At the Capitol, Mike Dennison, MTN News.
The bill is still in draft form and it will be introduced next month. Almost immediately after today's changes, survivors of the alleged abuse at the hands of a longtime Miles City athletic trainer spoke out. The men talked with MTN News anonymously, but did say today's new statute of limitations proposed bill is a step in the right direction. The Cascade County Sheriff's Office will now be able to combat crimes against children. Commissioners approved a 3-year grant to add a detective to investigate child pornography and human trafficking crimes. This detective will also hold educational presentations for the public. Sheriff Jesse Slaughter says they lack funding to investigate these crimes. The roughly $8,000 grant also will help for equipment and some overtime. Well, still to come tonight on the MTN News, we'll have an important reminder for Montana ranchers in the continued fight against brucellosis. And our Bob McGuire joins us to deliver your statewide weather forecast. We'll be right back.